She's out. She's back. Okay, so let me please introduce, we will introduce Marina Majonica to the public.
Good morning.
In Barcelona. But now, consider Marina to the public online. Marina Majonica has been teaching English for 15 years. She holds a certificate. She's a teacher trainer and life coach trainer. Since 2006, she has been involved with her own academy and is co-founder of Carpet Diem Coaching. She has been Bolivar's representative since 2011. So please let's welcome Marina Majonica.
Hi, everybody. That was such a warm welcome. Thank you very much. And you are here today to shift your perception from being a teacher to being a freelancer. Now, if you want to tweet about this, the hashtags are on top, shift perception and hashtag TESOL 2015, okay? May I recommend, now that you are already here, that there will be lots of notes that you will want to take. And so make sure that you have your notepad ready, pencils ready, and most importantly, your mindset very, very open for the questions that I'm about to ask you and that you will be asking yourself. As such, then let's go on to the next slide. So feel free to take pictures, feel free to take notes, especially the 8 questions, because you will want to come back to them. Today, the session will be very revelatory to you, and if you want to have some other questions, if you want to contact me, feel free to also do that, and my contact information will be at the end of the slides, okay? But take pictures and especially take notes of the 8 questions so that you have everything you need to being a freelancer. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. See, our perception determines our future. The kind of glasses that we wear definitely depends or has an effect on whatever it is that we do. When you look at the cartoon, you can see that they are both acting from their own perception. We've got a lost person on the island finally saying, yes, there's a boat, I can get off here. And maybe someone who has been in the water for so long longs to be on an island. So our perception determines our future. Similarly, in this picture, we can see different animals. But can you see an extra animal from all those there? You can see an elephant and a horse and a dog, a cat. You can see a mouse. Yes, you can even see a monkey. Can you see the squirrel though? Can you see the squirrel? Can you see the squirrel? Where is it? Exactly. That's because there is no squirrel. But sometimes people will tell you, look, 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 there's a squirrel. And they will ask you to see something that is just not there. Because some people see it, but some people don't. So make sure that your perception is the one that you want to go for. Like I said, our perception determines our future. Can you see something else in this picture? What can you see? Well, there are some black things and there are some whiter things. Yes, there could be some chess pieces and there are people as well. And that's really good that you can say that, because that means that your perception is open to many different things. So here, again, our perception determines our future, because you have these little foxes and each one has their own point of view. And for them, their truth is the only one. But when we keep an open perception about what else there is out there and what other things we can do, then our outlook on life improves, and therefore we can make better decisions. So can we change our perception? And most importantly, do we want to change our perception of ourselves, of our careers, our families, of our lives? I would invite you to want to change your perception, to maybe be open, just like the door, to cross a threshold into a new type of vision, the type of vision that allows you to shift your perception from being a teacher to being a freelancer. So, a good teacher, says the quote, is like a candle. It consumes its way and itself to light the way for others. And now I'd like your thoughts and some input on this. What do you think about this? Are we like a candle? Do we consume our light to be of help to others? Do you like this quote? Well, personally, I can see some writing. Exactly. Why do we have to consume ourselves? We could be flashlights and have rechargeable batteries, but why do we have to consume ourselves for others? That's exactly my point. And I am so glad that you have asked yourself that question. Because let's think about our Venezuelan context. How many students do we have per normal classroom? How much prep time do we use for our lesson planning? How many hours do we teach? How are we paid in our Venezuelan context? And this could be a school, this could be an institute, this could be a university or a college. But what is the norm? And I give that question over to you in the audience. How many students do we have, more or less? How much time do we use? How do we get paid? How much do we get paid? How many teaching hours do we have? Okay, correct. 30 to 40 students, yes, especially if it's in a classroom. Full-time preparation, that is correct. Sometimes it's not just the preparation we do at school or in an institute, but the time that is spent also away from our job. The teaching hours vary. Some people teach about 40 hours exactly, some 50, some 60. It all depends on where we teach. Sometimes we have 2 jobs. Sometimes we have 3 jobs. And it gets exhausting. I've been there. And pay, well, pay is something that not all of us are very happy with. And what I think that what we can all agree on is that the pay does not always is not always equal to the input we have in our job. And sometimes the pay depends a lot on where we are working. Exactly. I know. So this is something to think about. Now, some people say, well, I don't care, but you really shouldn't take your work home. And some people say, well, if you are in it for the money, then, you know, ... Finish that sentence however you want. And if you're going to work in a school, that doesn't matter. You get your summers off. So why are you going to complain about that? You get your summers off. You really shouldn't take your work home. And if you are in it for the money, then, well, just stop. You need to be working in a school or in an institute because you are loving English, because it's your vocation, because you're not supposed to get rich, and so many other things. But, why don't we put on our thinking caps and different perceptive glasses? Because it doesn't have to be that way, like people say. But again, remember the squirrel? There are some people who think that it's only vocation and that the money doesn't matter. Let's explore this further. Let's take a closer look. So if you work in a school, you get summers off. Well, that right there is just false, because teachers still work in their time off to make ends meet. If you have a summer vacation from a school, most likely you will still work somewhere else. Sometimes teachers don't want their vacations because they need to work. What about this? Work stays at work. Well, as teachers, we know that's not really true. Because between planning and correcting, work often goes home, and we often do so on the weekends, or late at night, or early in the morning. And let's not even get started when you're working in a school or in a university, and you have tons and tons and tons of paper to correct. And the last one, if you are in it for the money, then, well, why not? Why not receive our salary according to the work that we do? Yes, sometimes we take summers for professional development, and as such, well, it's still working because you're developing yourself. So this is the question I leave for the audience. Why not receive a salary according to the work that is done? Well, the thing is that it all depends on what controls how we have our incomes. Because we cannot always control how schools or institutes or universities pay us. We cannot control that, but we can control our own activities. So, we already know that we do not have to consume ourselves. So, why? Why transition to freelance teaching? This is a question that I want to make available for you during the rest of the webinar. Why do this? Why not just stay where we are? Well, we have to really think about what our work entails. We need to think about our priorities and take the time that you are now in TESOL to think about what your priorities are as a professional or as a student teacher. If you are a pre-service teacher, then think about how you want your profession to look like. Think about the type of workplace that you want to have. Where do you want to work? Your environment, your atmosphere, the 4 walls that you will have. Could you think about maybe teaching in a park? In a pool? doesn't have to be only in a classroom. How many teaching hours do you want to have? Do you want to work because you have a certain goal in mind? Do you want to work to survive? Or do you want to work some teaching hours but have also time to spend with your family, to read a book, to do a specialization in college? Another important question, how much do you want to earn? Rather than depending on the number that other people give you, how much would you like to earn? Next, which field do you want to work in? Your niche, your particular area of expertise. In which English area do you want to focus on? Who would you like your students to be? Would you like your students to be men, women, teenagers, business people, young learners, small toddlers, adults, working adults, young adults? As you see, we can definitely choose and keep in mind who we would like our students to be and work in that sense. And finally, another question for our priorities is, what content do you want to teach? Do you want to teach English for specific purposes? Do you want to orient it to business English? Do you want to have science, math, and geography in English? Do you want general English or conversational English? As you can see, there's lots to think about, and your niche and your content can be very, very, very open and broad, or it can be very, very specific. It all depends on who your priorities are. And the teacher in the slide is just writing all those things on those Post-it notes and just putting them in front of her, and she's choosing or deciding what she wants to do. And just like her with her Post-it notes, you can do so too. So let's get started with these following 8 powerful questions so that you can go from being a teacher to being a freelance teacher. Let's take a look. Question 1. Which superpowers do you have? And if you have been following TESOL's activities throughout the year, you will have seen that Miguel, myself, and other teachers have been part of delivering the regional convention tour that talks about teaching and superpowers. See, you need to think about the internal resources you have. So it is very helpful when you are shifting your perception from teacher to freelancer to lift the internal resources you have. Do you have perseverance? Do you have great observation with laser vision? Do you have bionic hearing? Do you have great pronunciation? Do you have experience or lots of technology skills? You need to lift your internal resources so that you can know what exactly it is that you count on and what makes you special and what you can consider your super powers to be. Next question. How do you see your transition? Is it a short-term transition from working as a teacher in a place to doing freelance work? Is it short-term? Is it medium-term? Are you maybe not ready yet, but only considering? So it's more of a long-term for you? Because, let's see, in the business world, short-term is about a year and a half. Medium-term is about 3 to 5 years, and long-term is 5 years or more. But again, since we can change our perception, short-term can be in 1 or 2 months, medium-term can be in 5 or 6 months, and long-term can be in a year. So as you can see, you don't always have to follow the established rules that are out there, because in the end, it is you who makes the choices for yourself. So here are some more questions about how you can see your transition. Why do you stay in your job? Why should you quit? If I stay, until when do I stay? What do I gain, or what are some benefits if I leave where I'm working now? Should I just quit? Or should I stay in my job? Can I maybe do a list between pros versus cons and then make a decision? When do you quit? What do you gain if you stay? So as you can see, it's not only about whether you teach in a place and you teach by yourself. No, no, no. I'm not asking you to, like some grandma say, jump off the bridge. This needs to be a very informed and educated decision. But these are some questions to ask yourself: when, what, why, where do I go? Okay? And these questions can help you think about where you are standing now, but where you also want to be. Let's go on to the next slide. You need to draw an action plan, and you need to allow yourself some questions to open your possibilities. And this is the slide where I wanted to share with you a little bit how my personal hero's journey has been in the years that I have had the teaching and the coaching experience. So I started teaching in the year 2000, and I started working in a private institute. And also I worked in some schools. So as I was working in these institutes and these schools, there was actually a kindergarten and then it was an elementary school, I asked myself, okay, so I'm working here, but what if I teach private lessons on the side? Okay? So that question allowed me to open my possibilities. So then that's what I did. Besides working in an institute and schools, I also taught private lessons in a student's home, and I went to a lot of publishers' workshops. And I cannot thank the publishers enough. And those are the exactly same publishers that are probably in the book exhibits. I went to workshops from Macmillan and Richmond and DCN Books and Ocerco and McGraw-Hill. They all had publishers' workshops, and I went because I wanted to have more knowledge. And as I was doing that, I asked myself, well, what if I teach in my own place? So that's what I did. In the year 2005, I was newly married, and I started offering group lessons in my own home, in my living room. And I went to my first TESOL annual convention, and it was absolutely the best. It was, I am not kidding you when I say that it was the first time that I saw so many teachers together, and I thought, yes, this is how I would like to do it. And this time, I didn't ask myself, but it was my husband. And he asked me, Marina, well, what if you start your own place? And I said, yeah, okay, yeah, like in the living room, like I'm doing now. And he said, no, 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 no. What if we look for some place where you could start teaching on your own, when it's a space that it's just for teaching English? And that's what happened in 2006. We opened Continental Institute. Continental Institute started in a house that we rented. And in this house that we rented, oh, poor house, it really needed a lot of work. So we started in the living room, and we started with a fan. We didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have lots of cachet things like a logo or institution colors or a bathroom with, I don't know, 3 toilets or something. It was very, very, very simple. but that's how we started Continental Institute. And that's when I thought, okay, I need to get more serious about getting qualifications. And that is how we went from one classroom, and then we did lots of renovation work on that house, I remember very well. And we finally had air conditioning installed, and finally we had a little bigger bathroom, and I had an assistant. So everything started changing, but it was a gradual change. It wasn't from black to white from day to night. And I asked myself, after I got the CELTA, and after I met Miguel in a British Council workshop, I asked myself, what if I share what I know? And that is when in 2013, I started training teachers. And I needed to train teachers because, hey, I had teachers working with me in Continental Institute. And now there's 3 of us, myself and 2 other teachers, Teacher Gabriela and Teacher Delu, and each of us has our classroom. And also, I started giving presentations to share what I know. And my husband and I, we opened our company called now Carpe Diem Coaching. And I asked myself then, okay, I'm sharing what I know. I have my own place. I am really enjoying helping other teachers and helping students. What if I go online? And that is why I am here today. I am giving a webinar, and I'm also teaching students online as well. So as you can see, questions definitely are able to open your possibilities. Ask yourself, what if? What if I start working in the afternoons with private lessons? What if a teacher and I get together at her house? What if I ask my boss and, dot, dot, dot. Questions will always open new possibilities for you. So question number 3 in the series of 8 questions is, do you know others who have done it before? Because sometimes we can be a little scared, but good scared, not bad scared. We can be good scared thinking, okay, but I don't want to make any mistakes. So ask, do you know anybody who has done this before? And, well, if you know them, ask them directly. Remember the Post-it notes? So look up for and contact local or regional examples. Talk to these people. Ask questions. Ask them how they did it. Ask them what mistakes they made. Because in the end, they provide insights, they provide you experience, and they can also give you courage when you are developing your own action plan. Because deep down, I believe that people want to help people. And so if you have questions, all you have to do is ask. And if you don't find them where you wanted, it doesn't matter. You can always ask somebody else. And that's the beauty of being in a TESOL convention, that you can meet new people, you can meet with your old friends, and you can have lots of time to talk about your teaching environment and network. Next question. What is your field of expertise? Because as you see, when I wanted to start teaching online, I found this teacher. His name is Jack Askew, and he has a website called teachingESLonline.com. And in his course for English teachers, he tells us that a teaching niche, said in very easy words, is offering a very specific service to a very specific group of learners who share a very specific problem. So, when I asked and told you before about whether you teach business English or online teaching or test preparation or English for specific purposes, define what your field of expertise is. Ask yourself where you are good at, where you know people. This is where your superpowers come in, because you need to ask yourself in which areas you are good at so that you can focus on that. Because When you are being specific, you ask yourself, well, who are your ideal students? And you identify that audience. And what do you help with? Those are the classes you offer, and this is you as the problem solver. I help you in having better pronunciation. I help you in having better grammar. I help you when you go and travel to have very easy conversations so that you don't get lost. And when you are defining your field, you need to also ask yourself what you offer. Do you offer group lessons? Do you offer individual lessons? Do you offer 45-minute lessons, 1-hour lessons, 1 hour and a half lessons? Do you offer homework correction? Do you offer online help? You see, this is why it's so important to define and ask yourself what you want to do, how you want to do it, and who you want to do it with. Because look at the picture. You have a smart idea, and then when you mass market it, you are just being smarter because you're sharing with everybody what it is that you do. But when it is specific, then you are being the smartest because you're marketing yourself to a specific area in particular. So, define your niche. Define your field of expertise. Other benefits of having a niche is that grouping your students becomes easier, and you have more and more specific lessons. Because if you have young learners and you also have adults, well, you cannot group them together. And as you may well know, you cannot have you cannot have young learner lessons be the same as adult lessons. So when you are being very specific in your niche, your grouping of students become easier. You have more specific lessons, and get this. You will have higher referral rates because the mother who enjoys having her child in your English classes will tell the other mother and will tell the other mother. And now with technology, you know that there are some parents who have WhatsApp groups and they tell each other things every day. And in that group, can you imagine the kind of students you would have if just one mother says, oh yeah, I know a great English teacher for young children. And ta-da, you get referrals. And not only that, when you focus on a specific thing, your status of being an expert becomes higher because it's not that just you teach English. No. You're an expert in that you teach English to business people or in company lessons. In the next slide, you have question number 5. Now remember, take pictures of these so that you can take this home. What are your qualifications? And I need to bring this up because qualifications give us more credibility. Now, I know that there are some of us, because I know that's how I started, that we didn't have any qualifications. But that's okay, because if you don't have any, you can always look for courses and webinars or a mentor to grow yourself professionally. Okay? Those summers off, those pre-convention institutes, look for qualifications that open your teaching experience to better practices. Now, why though? Why should we do this? Well, because the qualifications make us definitely more effective. They make us more effective because we have more experience and we have more knowledge to gain from. Not only that, when you get better and when you have more things to work with, you empower your teacher self, you improve your problem solving, and again, this gives you a higher expert status. I want to focus on the problem solving part because when you have more qualifications and when you learn more things, your teacher self knows better ways of solving something. If you have a student that is not comfortable with a specific type of grammar and you have qualifications that have helped you teach English in different ways, then you can help the student in solving his issue, his problem. Where to look? Well, you can look to places like TESOL, Venezuela. You can look to places like American Embassy webinars, such as Shaping the Way We Teach English, e-teacher programs. The British Council also offers qualifications. So make sure that you go online and you look for this. For example, when I joined the TESOL Ning, the address you can see at the bottom of the Super Teacher poster, when I joined the Ning, I realized that there was a call for nominations for the e-teacher program that was offered by the embassy, by the American Embassy. And this was where we had to nominate ourselves and we had to give in our resume and some other things. But I found out about this webinar and I found out about the e-teacher program because I joined the TESOL Ning. So this is another way that you can definitely take advantage and get better qualifications. Question number 6. Which external resources can you count on? So you can count on friends of friends. Those are your contacts. You can count on your current students, and they are the ones that you can count on, so you can tell them, oh, you know, I'm teaching this and this and this place now. Would you like some lessons? You can also count on your former students. You can count on materials, because depending on the materials you have, you can always have better lessons. You can also depend on your technology skills and your interpersonal skills to make this transition from being a teacher to being a freelance teacher. Now, my next question, as we are winding down, how connected are you with other teachers? Now, I want you to take a very subtle look around the room. And as you will be able to see, there are teachers in that classroom right now who probably have the same questions as you do. And when you leave the classroom, you have the opportunity to connect with others. Maybe there's someone from Barquisimeto, maybe there's someone from Caracas, or from Maracaibo, or from Maracay. Connect with these teachers. Connect with people who have similar outlooks on life as you do. Connect with them because you can always count on each other for references and connections and referrals. And you can always have somebody else to talk to. Other ways and other benefits of connecting with others is that you get to share your ideas and you get information. You can be referred or refer to others. You can learn of job opportunities. You can keep yourself up to date, find professional development. For example, in Puerto Ordaz, which is where I teach, I have a teacher who is also a young learners teacher. And the thing is, or what makes us different, is that she starts with those students around age 12, and I take students starting age 6. So when I don't have any places anymore in Continental, I refer them to her. And she knows that since I have young learners, she sometimes refers to me when they are, 6, 7, or 8. So it's important to be connected because you learn of these job opportunities and you can also share ideas. Sometimes she and I sit down and have a cup of coffee and, we have a sort of teachers meeting and I ask her, so how have you been doing with these and these students? And she tells me about them. And I tell her, maybe I have an issue with a student and I want to share with another teacher. How do I fix this? So networking is precisely that. Now, I just mentioned my teacher friend Andrea. Let me tell you something a little bit about competition. Competition is, how to explain? Some people see it as a race, like in the picture. But it doesn't have to be that way, because I want you to take a look at the people who are in this picture. There's a woman with a skirt. There's an African-American man, without a jacket. there's a white man in a suit. Then there's another woman, and she has slightly long hair. She's not wearing a skirt. She's wearing a pantsuit. And then there are other two men. But you see, they're all different. And that's what I want to talk to you about competition. Because it is us, it is we who design our own paths. When we define what our niches are, we don't have to worry about competition because there are so many people who want to learn English that there will always be enough students for all the teachers involved. And when you develop your very specific niche, then those students will come to you because they know that you are offering a very specific service. So I would ask you today to network with others, because being with other teachers has nothing to do with competition. It has to do with helping teachers become better at what they are doing in the specific field that they are doing it in. So it is you who designs your own path. So you have a unique path and unique talents and unique challenges, so there's no need to compete. You can focus on test preparation. You can focus on pronunciation or online lessons, on business English, on young learners. There are so many fields that you can focus on that there is no need to compete anymore. And finally, question 8. Who can support you on this journey? Who can be with you as you are doing this? Well, you can have friends, family, colleagues. You can even have a coach to help you in this journey. They can help you financially in getting your things together and how to pay for this and how to pay for that, maybe even lending you some money. You can have them supporting you whenever you're having a bad day or when you're having a great day and you want to share this with someone. You can count on people close to you for solving your issues together and even for decision making. So keep in mind on the people that can support you and ask them for support. So as we are winding down this webinar, I would like to finish by asking you to dare to shift your perception from being a teacher to working towards being a freelancer in your own time, taking care of your priorities, asking people around you for any help that you might need, and most importantly, being sure that that is a way that you can renew your self-spirit. Dare to design your new teaching experience the way that you want to experience it. You design how many hours you would like to teach. You design where you would like to teach. You design who your students will be as your audience. When you put all this together on paper and in place, you are much more focused on making a change because it is an educated and informed change. Dare to visualize what it is that you would like to do. Make your action plan through questions. Ask for help if you need it, and that's including myself if you want, because my data will be at the end of the slides. And most importantly, don't leave it only as a visualization. Follow through, just like this girl on the bridge, to get to the other side. Walk with the wind in your hair and with a bag full of your internal and external resources to get there. And do you see that person up on the bridge? That's a person that has experience. Go ask them how they did it, and your journey will also become easier. So, tweet about this, because superhero isn't an official job title. So I would like to encourage you to shift your perception today from being a teacher to becoming a freelancer. And as I have my contact information, I have maybe, if time allows it, a few minutes for questions and answers. Thank you for your attention, everybody. Okay, the very first step. The very first step is asking yourself what it is that you want to do. What it is that you want to do in the sense of where you want to teach, how you want to teach. It's the slide, and let me get it to you. It's the slide where the teacher was asking herself where to go and what to do. Let me go on. These are the first steps. Asking yourself how you want your experience to be. Where to find the materials? Well, it all depends. Sometimes you can find materials in books. Sometimes you can find material online. It all depends on what kind of materials you want to have. Sometimes materials are not really tangible that you can touch, but more ideas. And ideas you can always find online, but beware, you cannot just write ideas for English teaching on Google. That's not how it works. But you can find lots of ideas and materials whenever you go on YouTube, for example. I teach my students, my teachers, how to get attention getters by seeing the attention getters on YouTube, for example. And the materials will always depend on your field. They can be books, they can be worksheets. A lot of things are online, but you can also share with other teachers. And you can definitely make them as well. A lot of material I have made myself because I have tailored it to exactly what I need. Are there any other questions or about the presentation or otherwise? Okie dokie. Then thank you very much for coming to this webinar. I am very, very pleased that you made it here today. Lots of love for you, TESOLers. I would really like to be there. But otherwise, thank you for coming, and make sure to stay in touch. And if you have any other questions, contact me. Otherwise, remember that the hashtag for this was Shift Perception Today, and of course, hashtag TESOL 2015. Comments, questions? You can put that on Twitter, and I'll make sure to reply. Thank you.
Okay, Marina, thank you very, very much. The audience was really engaged in your topic. So once again, thank you on behalf of the Executive Board for your help in delivering this webinar. We really appreciate it. As I said before, you were really
Yay, that's good. Thanks, Miguel.
All right, so we're going to be ending up the session now. So if you want to contact Marina, you have the last slide there. They have on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and their email address. So thank you very much, and hopefully by the end of next week, you will find this presentation, this webinar, on YouTube as well. Okay, so follow us on TESOL. Go on to TESOL.com and also go on to TESOL.org. Okay, thank you very much, and this is how we end the session. Thank you very much.
Bye, thank you.